99% of startups fail. Not because of bad ideas. Not because of lack of passion. But because they didn't have the right people. You might be great at strategy. You might be incredibly creative. But if you're trying to build an empire alone, you might be unknowingly dragging your startup toward failure. I know that feeling. You stay up late. You do everything yourself. You believe in your vision. But then you look around. And it's still just you. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the 5 essential people you need, and how having them turns chaos into clarity. And by the end of the video, I'll reveal one final role, the one who shows up right when you're ready to rise to the next level. Do you know the most dangerous thing in a startup? It's not competition. It's not lack of funding. It's not knowing where your business is bleeding from. The analyst is the very first person you need. Not because they're good with numbers, but because they face the truths you're too afraid to see. They see where the money flows. They spot the leaks. They identify what looks strong on the surface, but is silently sinking your business. You don't need a full finance department. You must understand these 3 things. Where revenue comes from, where expenses go, and if you scaled 10x, will you break? You might love your product. But remember, passion without awareness is a double-edged sword. WeWork once had a $47 billion valuation. But when investors looked deeper, the financial model was a bubble. Pretty on paper, empty underneath. And your startup might be heading down the same road, unless you wake up. You don't need to be good at everything. But you must understand the numbers, because they're either saving you, or silently killing you. When you truly grasp your metrics, you see clearly what to cut, what to scale, where to optimize, and where your next opportunity lies. That's when you're ready for the next person. The one who keeps your machine from falling apart. Ever feel like you're drowning in busy work, but nothing's really moving forward? You're probably missing the operator. They're the one who keeps the engine running, while you steer the ship forward. The one who makes sure things work, so you have time to think bigger. In a small startup, the operator is the system's soul. On a farm, they run the crops. In a tech startup, they manage engineers, features, timelines. In a cafe, they make sure every cup tastes just as good as day one. No fancy title, no spotlight, but without them, things fall apart. Startups don't die from bad ideas. They die from unchecked overload. Peter Thiel had Keith Rabois at PayPal. Steve Jobs had Tim Cook, the man who turned creative chaos into a scalable machine. You're the fire. The operator is the frame that keeps the fire from burning it all down. You need someone who doesn't ask for instructions. They figure it out. They build systems. They keep things moving. And once you have them, you finally lift your head up and look toward the future. Because now it's time for someone who turns what's in your head into something real. You might have an amazing idea. You might clearly see its bright future. But if no one turns it into something you can touch, test, or launch, it's just a beautiful illusion in your head. That's why you need the builder. They don't like managing. They don't like pitching. They just want to build. They're the coder who brings your vision to life. The designer who turns a sketch into a product. The engineer who transforms a dream into something real. They can sit in silence for hours and then show you something that blows your mind. You might say, I want this to be simple, elegant, fast, but only when they build it, it becomes real. Without the builder, your startup is just a half-baked idea. With them, you have your first real product. Something you can test, pitch, sell. Johnny Ive was that person for Steve Jobs. Not on stage, not in the spotlight, but the reason Apple became iconic. Builders don't need to be led. They need the freedom to create what's never existed. If your product is still trapped inside a notebook, maybe you're just missing the one person who's brave enough to build it. And once they show up, things start moving. Ready? Because the next person will take what you built and bring it to the world. You've got a product. It works. It looks good. It brings real value. But then, no one knows about it. No one's buying. No one's sharing. No one's coming back. And your startup starts bleeding money. At this point, you don't need more features. You don't need upgrades. You need someone who can turn value into cash flow. You need the seller, not just a smooth talker. They understand what the customer is thinking, fearing, hoping for. They know when to talk and when to pause. They don't sell a product. They sell the certainty that this is for you, and you deserve it. They turn objections into openings, curiosity into commitment, and one buyer into 100. Sellers don't always speak the loudest, but they can feel the energy, read the room, and hit the right nerve at the right moment. You might not notice them at first, but when the revenue kicks in, you'll know exactly why they matter. You can have a great product, but if no one hears about it, it stays in the shadows. The seller is the one who pulls your startup out of the pitch deck and into real customers' hands. And when you have a great seller, you're not just selling a product, you're building a market. And when the market starts paying attention, it's time to make them remember you. People don't buy because your product is great. They buy because they see themselves in your story. You need the storyteller, not a content writer, not just a marketer. Someone who gives your brand a soul. Who makes the customer feel, this is me. Who turns a product into identity. You think Red Bull sells energy drinks? No, they sell the spirit of risk. You think Apple sells phones? No, they sell the manifesto. Think different. Great storytellers don't talk much about the product. They talk about people, journeys, emotions. They understand culture. They spot trends before they trend. And they turn dry messages into moments people want to share. Storytellers don't sell what you have. They make people feel like it speaks for them. And once you have a storyteller, your brand stops being invisible. It starts to take shape, have sound, gain depth. You're no longer just another product. You become something worth talking about. You have the product. You have the seller. Now, you have the story that makes people listen. But sometimes, when success comes faster than expected, you realize you're getting lost in your own growth. That's when the sixth special person arrives. You got all five. A solid product, rising revenue, positive market response. But then, the systems crack. Old processes can't keep up. Your team's overwhelmed. Everything feels heavy. It's like you're driving a speeding car with a loose wheel and an overheating engine. That's when you need the big hire. Not someone who's good at a lot, but someone who's exceptional at one thing. The one thing that's holding you back. It might be finance. It might be operations. It might be scaling. It might be transformation. They're not here to stay forever. They're here to break ceilings. Like Angela Arendts, who saved Burberry and reinvented Apple's retail experience. Like Sundar Pichai, not a founder, but the mind that took Android and Chrome to global dominance. Sometimes, what you lack isn't effort. It's someone who sees and fixes what you can't. Startups don't burn out from lack of passion. They collapse under the weight of it. The big hire shows up when things are about to tip over. Not just to help you break through, but to make sure you don't break apart. And sometimes, admitting you need help is the clearest sign you've grown. You don't need an army. You don't need 100 employees. You just need 5 people in the right roles. The analyst, to see clearly through the noise. The operator, to keep chaos from killing you. The builder, to bring your vision into reality. The seller, to turn your value into impact. The storyteller, to make the world believe in what you're building. And when growth starts to break your foundation, the big hire shows up, if you're awake enough to welcome them. Building a startup isn't a solo battle against the world. It's a journey, and you need the right people on board. Maybe after this video, you'll realize, who are you missing? And who are you in this team of 5? If you see yourself in any of these roles, or feel like you're walking alone right now, leave a comment. Maybe someone watching this video with you is looking for exactly the role you were born to play. And maybe this isn't just a video. Maybe it's the beginning of a team, ready to change everything.